Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're digging into something absolutely critical for your exams and, let's be real, your future career: making sure you get paid. We're going to build a mental playbook for secured transactions, one that's designed to stick with you not for a week, but for the long haul.
So picture this. You've loaned out your hard-earned cash. What's the number one question on your mind? How do I make sure I get it back? This is the core problem for anyone who lends money. You're taking a risk, and you need a rock-solid strategy to protect yourself. That strategy, that guarantee, it all comes down to one word: security.
All right, let's jump right into what we call the creditor's dilemma. You see, every single loan is a risk. It's a calculated gamble. But you don't want to just cross your fingers and hope for the best, right? You need a game plan. And that's exactly what security is. It's your strategic playbook. Forget thinking of it as some dry, boring legal term. It's a set of power moves that links a specific piece of property directly to a loan. It gives you a clear, predictable path to get your money back if things go wrong. Now, inside this playbook, you've got 4 primary tools in your arsenal. The official term is accessory contracts. Fancy, I know. It just means they can't exist without a main loan to back up. Each one is a different play for a different situation. So let's break them down.
First up, we have the pledge. The key word here is possession. The person who owes you money, the debtor, physically hands over a movable item. Think jewelry, a watch, maybe some shares of stock. You literally hold onto it until the debt is paid. It's the classic pawn shop setup. If they don't pay, well, you've already got the collateral right there in your hands.
Next on the list is the real estate mortgage, or as you'll see it, REM. Now we're talking about the big stuff: a house, a piece of land, a building. Here's the huge difference. The debtor keeps possession. You don't get to move into their house just because you gave them a loan. Instead, your security comes from registering that mortgage. That act puts the entire world on notice that your loan is backed by that property. Tool number 3 is the chattel mortgage. Okay, we're back to movable stuff here, like a car or some heavy machinery. But here's the twist. Instead of you physically holding the item like in a pledge, the security is all about official registration. The debtor gets to keep driving their car, but your claim on it is officially on the books, protecting your investment. And finally, we have the most unique tool of the bunch: Antichresis. With this one, you, the creditor, get the right to the fruits of an immovable property. What are fruits? Think income. So let's say the property is an apartment building. You could take over, collect all the rent, and use that money to pay off the interest on the loan and then the loan itself. You're basically securing the debt with the property's ability to make money. Pretty cool, huh?
So we've got our 4 tools: pledge, real estate mortgage, chattel mortgage, and Antichresis. How in the world do you know which one to use? Well, it all boils down to a few critical differences. Let's put them head-to-head and see how they stack up.
The very first question you have to ask is, what kind of asset are we dealing with? Is it movable or is it immovable? If it's something you can pick up and move, like a car or jewelry, then your choice is between a pledge and a chattel mortgage. If it's stuck in place, like land or a building, you're looking at either a real estate mortgage or Antichresis. That's your first decision point right there. Okay, guys, screenshot this slide. Burn it into your brain. This right here is your ultimate cheat sheet. It lays out the entire playbook in one simple view. Look at the key battlegrounds. Who actually has possession of the item? Only in a pledge and Antichresis. Who gets the fruits? The income from the property. That's only Antichresis. I'm telling you, understanding this table is the secret to picking the right tool every single time. Now, in any good playbook, there are rules you have to follow. And in the world of secured transactions, there is one absolutely forbidden, illegal move that you can never, ever make. So just think about it for a second. The debtor defaults on the loan, you're holding the collateral. Can you just decide it's yours now? The answer is a huge, emphatic no. And this is a rule that every future accountant, every future lawyer has to know by heart. This illegal move actually has a name: pactum commissorium. It's any agreement, any little clause in a contract that says the creditor automatically gets to own the collateral if the debtor doesn't pay. The law says any stipulation like that is totally void. Why? Because it's just not fair. You can't just take the property without following the proper process. So here's the bottom line, the crucial point. The only legal way to use the collateral to pay the debt is through a formal foreclosure sale. The property has to be sold, usually at auction, and the money from that sale is then used to pay off the debt. This whole process is there to protect the debtor's rights. Okay, so you did everything by the book. You followed the rules, you foreclosed on the property, but what if the money from the sale isn't enough to cover the entire loan?
This is where things get really interesting, and the game isn't quite over yet.
This is the million-dollar question, literally. If the sale comes up short, can you, as the creditor, still go after the debtor for the rest of the money? That's called a deficiency judgment, and whether or not you can get one depends entirely on which of the 4 security tools you picked way back at the beginning of the game.
And this slide right here shows you the end game. Look closely. Do you see the one huge exception? With a pledge, you absolutely cannot recover any deficiency. Whatever you get from selling the pledged item, that's it, game over. But for the other 3, chattel mortgage, real estate mortgage, and antichresis, the creditor can still sue the debtor for the leftover balance. That is a massive strategic difference you have to remember.
All right, we've covered a lot. To make sure this all sticks in your brain, not just for your next quiz, but for your board exams 3 years from now, let's lock it all in with a final, rapid-fire brain hack review.
Okay, here's the brain hack. Let's drill it. Ready? Pledge is for movable property, plus you have to have delivery. And the big one, no deficiency. Chattel mortgage is also movable, but the key is registration, and yes, you can get a deficiency. Real estate mortgage is for immovable property, also requires registration, and yes to deficiency. And finally, Antichresis is about the fruits of an immovable property. It has to be in writing, and yes, you can get a deficiency. Got it?
So I'll leave you with this final thought to chew on. Knowing all these rules, which tool do you think really gives the most protection to a creditor? And on the flip side, which one seems the most fair to the debtor? Thinking through questions like that, well, that's how you go from just memorizing the rules to actually mastering the entire playbook.